Garoppolo looking at the back of the end zone. Jump ball. Oh, it's caught. Brandon Ayuk.
What's up, League? Bringing you a Week 9 matchup here between Bryan and Jerry. This one was a heart stopper, I think, in my opinion, at the end, where it looked like Bryan was going to win this one during large stretches during this contest. But then out of nowhere, Matt Stafford came to the rescue there at the end of the game on Sunday night and threw a garbage time touchdown and a blowout loss there to the Titans. And Jerry suddenly looked up and said, "Hey, shit, I'm winning." So that was definitely unexpected outcome here. It looked like Bryan was going to be on his way to score like 120, 130, but just like across much of our league this week, there's just a whole lot low scoring. Projections weren't met, but Jerry was able to break over 100, which is saying a lot for a week like this. So let's jump in and see how this all happened. Daniel Jones only had 10.10 points there for you, Bryan. It looks like you had to pivot from Tua because Tua wasn't playing. So it ended up not benefiting you at all. It was looking like you were going to have a decent day with Danny Dimes, though, because he threw an early touchdown pass there. But then after that, didn't really do much of anything. Went 15 for 20, 110 and a touchdown. Also carried the ball 17 yards. But other than that, it wasn't a big day for Danny Dimes. Looking more like Danny Pennies, in my opinion. But the Giants got the win, though. I don't know how, but they got it. Matt Stafford, 15.06 points. He was looking like he's about to have a Danny Dimes kind of day, too. But he got a late last-minute touchdown there for you, Jerry, and was able to get you the dub. Threw it 48 times, 294, had a TD, 2 picks, 13 yards rushing. So that was just enough for you to pull out this win, Jerry. Joe Mixon came up with 25.5 points, 13 carries, 64 yards, and 2 TDs. Also caught 5 passes for 46. So he's having, I think this is a really big breakout season for Mixon. He's really been doing great weekly. Feels like every week he's getting like 20 plus points, which can be said for him in the past. I know you own him every year, Bryan. So I know you've been waiting for him to be like this guy that you can just plug in and he can get you like those RB1 numbers. And this year, it's looking like that's the case. And you desperately need it now because Derrick Henry's out for probably the whole year, definitely the whole fantasy season. So, but yeah. So good for you there. Darrell Williams had only 9.2 points, had 19 carries, 70 yards. Also had 7 receiving yards too. So just not a huge day at all. Chiefs offense still looks pretty bad. They couldn't take advantage of a terrible Packers squad. So, but we'll see how. Like I should say terrible Packers squad without Aaron Rodgers. They have a lot of good players, but they just could not move the ball. But defense, I guess the Packers are still pretty solid. But I don't know. It's a pretty rough day for KC. Darrell Henderson had 11 carries, 55 yards, also had 3 catches for only 3 yards. So he's having like back-to-back bad weeks. Usually he gives you like 15 plus, it feels like, just not this week. Damian Harris had 9.8 for you, Jerry. 15 carries, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Also had a catch for 3 yards. So he's been the main back there for New England there for the entire season. Just couldn't quite get you like over into double digits. But definitely was still enough. It's kind of tough to run against the Panthers defense too. So that's probably part of why he struggled a little bit through the ground. Michael Pittman, though, he's not struggling at all. Had 5 catches, 64 yards, and a TD. This follows up his 2 touchdown performance the week before. So this could be a Michael Pittman breakout season. It's looking like it. He stepped in nicely there as like your wide receiver too, Bryan. So hopefully he keeps up the production for you. Tyreek Hill, 1 carry for -4. Also had 4 catches for 37 on 11 targets. So he cannot connect on the deep ball with Patrick Mahomes this year. It's just not happening. But he's still getting his touches. He's just kind of having to work a little bit harder for him this year. A lot of shorter passes, intermediate. The bomb just hasn't really been there as much this year as in past years. Devontae Adams only had 7.2 points. Definitely the Jordan Love factor came into play here. He got targeted 14 times, just had 42 yards, and that's it though. So just couldn't really get in sync on a lot of targets thrown at him. Keenan Allen was in sync with his guy. Justin Herbert had caught 12 of 13 targets, so he was catching everything. for 104 yards. Couldn't get in the end zone, but that's excellent production, especially in a half PPR league where he got you basically 6 points just on catches alone. If you just caught each pass and not got another yard, he would have got any yards. He would have got you 6 points. The tackle on the yards turns into 16. Travis Kelce had a nice bounce back week, had 5 catches, 68 yards, and a TD in the red zone there to start the game off. So I was looking at the Kansas City was going to start scoring a lot of touchdowns, but they just had that one touchdown. But that was enough. And went to Kelce, so that's good for you, Bryan. You probably could use a second touchdown in hindsight, though, just because of how this matchup unfolded. Zach Ertz, 4.2 points, had 3 catches, 27 yards, very modest production. Colt McCoy was in at quarterback, so that's probably a big reason why he had a down week. Kadarius Toney only had 1.2 points, caught 1 pass for 9 yards, also lost 2 yards on a rush, so rough go there for you, Bryan Loom. Tony's actually a pretty sneakily good player. He's just been kind of inconsistent, and Daniel Jones is also pretty inaccurate too, so is not really looking for him very often here. Even when Sterling Shepard's off the field, it's like, let's throw the ball to Tony, right? And I know Galladay was out there too, so they might have had a part of it. Brandon Ayuk had 15.7 points. Jerry, I think this is great because you like your guy definitely produced for you this week, but it was at the expense of another guy on your bench going off for 37.5, I believe. So 37.8, I think, from James Conner. So that almost cost you the week if it weren't for Matt Stafford. But luckily, you can just leave that either in the rear view mirror, put that in your LOB squad segment, which I know is going to be there. It's going to be highlighting it. It's going to be sticking out like a sore thumb. James Conner, 37.8 points on the bench. So, but it's probably fun for you to laugh about now that you got the win. But that would have been painstaking had you got the L with him on the bench. But anyways, Ayuk, very nice day. Kind of got out of the doghouse a little bit for you, so that's encouraging, I'm sure, for you Niner fans. Nick Folk had 6 points to the kicking game, and Brian Johnson had 9 for the Saints. Very nice production there. And finally, the Carolina Panthers had a solid day, 8 points against New England. And the Miami Dolphins had 17 points for you, Jerry. That's huge. That's not really like a team where you're like, I got to pick up the Miami defense, but they played against the Houston Texans, and you needed almost every bit of those points to get this win, Jerry. So even if they would have had like an average day, like 10, 11 points, you still might have lost. So, hey, congrats to you, man. Good play there. And it's going to show you all James Conner at 37.8 points. Honorable mention I'll put in here: 21 carries, 96 yards, 2 TDs, 5 receptions, 77 yards, and a TD. Sorry to do it to you, Jerry. I know you're a Niner fan, and also, he's your guy on your bench, but I just had to plug that in for the people to see. But Jerry, congrats, man, on the win. You've won, 4 in a row now. So you're absolutely killing it, man. 5-4 on the season, bouncing back from your early 1-4 start. So I think you're moved up to 3rd place just based off your record and points for on the season. It's tiebreakers, so keep it going, man. Bryan, you are 2nd in scoring in the league, but you're only 4-5. So I think you're kind of having a little bit of what I went through a bit last year. I was like probably 2nd, 3rd in the league in scoring for good stretches, and I just kept losing every game because I just got outscored every week. And I think the voodoo's kind of jumped onto you this year, where you have a really, really good team. It's just you're just getting beat by people having better weeks than you. That's pretty much all I can say. But hey, man, you're a contender. Just get into the playoffs, and not think anybody wants to face you. But good luck to you both this coming week as the season starts to wind down. Got only like five more weeks here. Ramp up.